Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Combination wolf bark, sheep ba to start out the episode. Oh, that's right. We are by the amazing waterfalls walls. Waterfalls walls. Wonder walls? Waterfalls walls? I don't know. Oops. Sorry, Wolfie. Did not mean to put a block of dirt above your head. But let's grab... Oh, Wolfie. Clean up our inventory a bit. And start episode 463 of Far Lands or Bust. Working our way to the Far Lands here on... Oh, hello. May I be of assistance? Let's go this way. All right, well, I guess we're not going to shear those sheep. The creeper doth declared that no sheep shearing would be happening on this good morning, but it is Monday, March 23rd. 2015, like I said, episode 463, and at farlandsorbust.com, we are still raising money for Child's Play charity, up to $32,280.74 raised this season, season 5 of Far Lands or Bust, trying to raise $50,000. We're working up towards 1 year for season 5 here. It is, 1 year, because I think perhaps it's possible. It's possible that I started... I'll have to look at this again. I've got to write this stuff down, keep some pertinent dates in my notebook or something. But I think I probably, because the Flobathon, the season 4 Flobathon was March 1st, 2014. I'm assuming I probably started Season 5 on March 28th, which is the... Whoa! That was a poor decision to jump over that little chasm, because that is the anniversary of Episode 11, when we started Walking to the Far Lands, and so maybe we're working on a year here for a season. A year-long season of Far Lands and Bust. Now, careful, Wolfie! We had some issues in the last episode, I should probably watch where I'm going too, where you spawned under the ice. So let's, like this area right here all seems potential for problematic. Yeah, like if he spawned right there, that'd be bad. No, spawn over here. There we go. Yes, good job. So we're working on a year, so hopefully we can get these donations up and at them. And then when we raise $50,000, we will hold another Flobathon, where at the end, I will finally press F3. We don't know how far we've walked. The last time we pressed F3 was March 1st of 2014, and we were at 1479940. 1,479,940 blocks from spawn. Ooh. Ice zombies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and keep donating at farlandsorbust.com, like I said. All that goes to Child's Play charity, helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Careful, Wolfie! Yeah, noodle. Well, I do have quite the abundance of food here. Have an abundant food source. I think I fed that to you. Let's hope so. Continuing on, I have just a little bit of space news. This Friday, there's going to be a launch of a Soyuz to the International Space Station, delivering the next 3 astronauts, well, astronaut and cosmonauts, to the International Space Station. This being of significance because 2 of them, astronaut Scott Kelly and cosmonaut Mikhail Koronenko, let's say that's how you pronounce it, are going up there for the first year-long mission. Up until now, the maximum mission length for astronauts on the International Space Station has been about 6 months, 5 to 6 months. But this is going to be the first super long duration, year-long mission on the International Space Station, and that launches Friday. Of course, of interest to NASA is that they are also simultaneously checking Scott Kelly's twin astronaut brother. Yes, twin brothers who are both astronauts, is staying home on Earth, and they're going to check the differences in what happens in orbit for a year versus staying on good old planet Earth for a year. some debatability as to how significant of science or information can be gleaned from that, but it was kind of interesting all the same. So a year-long mission on the International Space Station, kind of working towards seeing what real long-duration spaceflight does to the human body and mind in preparations for potential long-term missions to Mars, maybe? One can only hope before my lifetime is out that would happen, but we'll see. So yeah, that was just a little bit of a... Oh god, speaking of being trapped under ice, good lord. Yeah, let's continue on, and we do have a bunch of questions still to catch up on. All these generous, so very generous donations. I said that kind of creepy. You're so very generous. Donations to Child's Play charity, leaving questions with those. I do appreciate it. This one from an anonymous donor. Have you tried Omission beer? They are, for all intents and purposes, gluten-free. Yes, I have, and actually it was a weird story. When I first went gluten-free, I was probably making jokes on the Twitter, talking about how I can't have beer anymore, and actually Omission beer, like, tweeted at me. They must have some sort of Twitter notification thing that lets them know when anybody tweets gluten-free and beer in the same tweet, and then they reply to that. Good marketing. And they replied and basically said, oh, we make gluten-free beer, and it's apparently... Yeah, I'm not sure 100% how they do it. Because it's like standard beer, but then they do something to remove the gluten later, as opposed to other gluten-free beers are actually made with gluten-free ingredients, like rice or sorghum, barley, not barley, but, you know, some sort of other gluten-free situation. But yeah, I have tried, wasn't too impressed. It's a little bit too light for me. It's like a light beer, and there are some like darker beers that are gluten-free, but I've never tried them. You have to like obviously most bars don't stock them. You have to kind of search your local large distribution of like liquor stores or something like that to find the specialty beers and brews. But I've kind of given up on beers. I don't know. I was back and forth. Some people say that they have to be gluten-free, but for some reason beer is okay. I'm almost tempted. I'd have to like set out a block of time where I'm not going to be doing anything important, or I'm not going to need to be anywhere, to be like, okay, I'm going to try beer, maybe, and then try beer, and then see if my stomach turns inside out and jumps out of my nostrils. But I'm tempted, but maybe not so much. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I have tried Omission beer. It's alright. I'm not a huge fan. I bought like a 6-pack. I had to go to like a... for those of you who live in the Chicago area, you know, Binny's Beverage Depot is kind of the big... It's like a large... There's like liquor stores, and then there's like this large liquor store that has like everything under the sun. Wolf, yeah, Wolfie knows. Wolfie is a booze hound. Get it? Booze, hound, dog. But yeah, I had to go there and find it there in their selection, because normal grocery stores or other places didn't carry it. Indeed. Speaking of gluten-free, Joseph asks, if you could eat 3 foods that are definitely not gluten-free and have no problems, what would they be? Luminati's Pizza, which they do have a gluten-free, but not the specific pan crust classic Luminati's. It's not deep dish. People call it deep dish. No, it's pan pizza. Deep dish is a different beast entirely. It's a pan pizza. They have their butter crust. Butter crust pizza. That would be up there. I'll probably have to stick with the Chicago favorites. Your Portillo's Italian beef dipped. Of course, that is served on a Kaiser roll type of Italian bun sort of thing, which cannot be had. I don't even know if maybe even like the the sauce, the sausage. No, the sauce is probably maybe got some sort of gluten or thickening agent in it that has gluten. I don't know, but maybe probably that. I'll probably go with that. What else would be like has gluten that I can't have now? Set the pizza, Italian beef. I can have hamburgers. I've had hamburgers, and I actually just went to a place that had gluten-free pancakes for breakfast. So there's really no loss for those items. I don't know, a Twinkie? Twinkies? I used to like Twinkies quite a bit. So let's just go for like an actual like gluten tube of grossness and delicious amazingness. Let's go for a Twinkie there. Those are the 3 items. Let's go to sleep and continue answering questions in the morning. Oh. I like fell into bed there accidentally before I was finished talking. Oh, craziness. And a crazinessness. Let's see here. Oh, I suppose, well, maybe I should... He's saying foods, but maybe I would say a beer of some sort. Let's go with beer. If I could, if Twinkies were unavailable, I would try beer. Let's see here from Anarja. What is your most treasured memory? I don't know. That is a tough one. I can't quite say nothing, there's no like one specific thing that sticks out at all for anything, so I'll pass on that one. I'm sure you were looking for some deep and amazing answer to that, but I can't, I mean, I've had like, oh, that's neat, oh, this happened, that was neat, oh, wow, we did this, that was neat, but treasured memory? No. I can't say I have any of those. What is the most... Oh, all these questions are somewhat similar. What is the most interesting situation you've been in? Interesting situation. Interesting situation. Woof. Again? Not really off the top of my head finding much. That story I told where I, as a kid, flew an airplane and then the headphones came loose and I was freaking out because I couldn't hear the pilot telling me what to do. That was an interesting situation. Interesting situation. I'm afraid... see, these are, like, what's your favorite? I don't really have, the way my life works and the way I suppose, remember things is I don't, like, remember, like, ooh, big moments, or I don't seek out big moments, or, ooh, amazing things. I don't go on, like, one amazing trip, or this or that. I do a lot of, like, cool little things, and, you know, little amazements here and there. I can't say that I, like, oh, I went skydiving, or this or that, or whatever. It's just, I keep things... I'm on a very even keel, but a very interesting keel. I strive for maintained interest, not so much peaks and valleys. Does that make sense? Does that just make me seem like a completely boring person? Sorry, interesting. Oh God, Wolfie. Good gravy. So yeah. What is the scariest thing that has happened to you? I tend to also avoid situations that would be scary or disconcerting. On the flight to San Antonio, we got some pretty serious turbulence. To the point, this has never happened before, but to the point where the pilot told all of the flight attendants to sit in their seats and buckle their seatbelts. I've never had that happen before. And then there was somebody in the bathroom and they were going to come out, but then one of the flight attendants was like told them to get back inside and sit down on the toilet and wait until this turbulence passed. I'm like, oh, this is pretty interesting. But I kind of, I don't freak out about stuff like that. I used to be a little bit scared of flying, but I'm not that much anymore, I guess, because I've paid attention and I know the engineering side of things, and I know how robust airplanes are. It's generally not turbulence that would cause any sort of falling out of the sky situations. It's usually mechanical problems or stuff like that. It's really just the landing and the takeoff that you got to worry about. Once you're in the air and cruising, there's little that can really happen. There's a very famous picture that probably has made the rounds on the internet where they were doing a stress test on the wings of an airplane, probably like a 747 or something, but they're basically like folded up upon themselves like a taco almost. And it's like, whenever you hit turbulence, just remember, your plane can do this. You know, when you look out the window and you see the wings bouncing, that's not a problem. They're intended to do that to kind of, they're like shock absorbers for the turbulence. So I'm fairly confident in the engineering of the vehicles of the sky. Wolfie is too. Wolfie is all right with flying. But scariest thing, yeah, I've never really been in any situation where fear happens, like where it's like, okay, I might die. No, I mean, like, I don't think I've never even really been in like a serious car accident, knock on wood. So, as a kid, I mean, growing up in the Midwest, you get a few storms and the tornado sirens go off and like, hey, there is a tornado nearby, and sort of stuff like that happens, and you get scared as a kid or whatever. But even now, I'm kind of like prepared for it, or like events like that have happened in the past. I'm like, all right, keep an eye. I know the weather, this, that, and the other, what to look for. Yeah, I just keep things on a cool, level playing field. So thank you for the donation anyway, and those questions. I'm sorry. It's usually the more specific questions that get me off on a tangent and talking. It's not really like a, what is your favorite this? Or what do you feel about overall this, that, or the other? So, tip for question asking in the future. From Caveman, with a K, Caveman, what vlogs and podcasts have you been enjoying recently? I have not listened to a podcast in probably years, so I can't answer about the podcasts. Vlogs? Also, not too many vlogs recently. No, I haven't really been watching vlogs. Really. The Brain Scoop is a vlog. I think if you're subscribed, you know what it is, but she was in the Amazon jungle recently with the Field Museum, doing some vlogs from there about the science and stuff they're doing, and specimen collecting in the Amazon, I think. That was kind of interesting. I watched on and off. But yeah, I haven't been watching many vlogs. It comes as a surprise, and I've mentioned this before, I'm sure, that often YouTubers, specifically the full-time YouTubers like myself and a lot of the others that you probably watch, don't have a lot of time to watch other YouTube videos. It's kind of a bad... It's one of those things that's kind of unfortunate, because the reason I started, and the reason a lot of us started YouTube, is because we were watching other YouTubers and really enjoying them and seeing how much fun they were having, and like, hey, I could do that, I could have fun doing that, I could improve on that or whatever. And then it turns out when you do get so busy with it that you can't continue watching, therefore maybe you lose some of that inspiration, I suppose, maybe. You lose some perspective on what the rest of YouTube is doing. So, I don't know, maybe we should all take some time to actually sit down as part of our busy schedules And all those folks that have spreadsheets with when they're recording this and uploading that and publishing this and that and the other, they should probably block out some time to say, just watch other YouTube videos and become inspired and educate yourself on what's going on, what the trends and what all the cool kids are up to. So yeah, I'm just swinging and missing on these questions here today. Dang it! From Anthony, what do you think the coolest space object thing is? Personally, quasars are extremely interesting to me. I'm going to go with black holes. It's a very typical answer, not too interesting. A lot of people would probably say that, but just because we don't know anything about them. They only really exist to us mathematically. We can't observe them directly because they're black holes. We can only observe their effects, and we can only calculate what happens on the inside. Things go all wibbly wobbly, interstellar-y, I suppose you could say. And when I was, what was it? I think it was the 3rd grade. We did some sort of like astronomy pageant where we had to dress up as our favorite space object, and and then introduce yourself as Jupiter or a galaxy or a nebula, or what I chose was a black hole. I dressed in all black. I wore like sunglasses and like a black watch cap and black gloves, just like all black shoes, and I talked about the black hole. Of course, this was back in the mid to early 90s, so we knew even less about black holes back then than we do now, even. It was still contested as to whether or not they existed. Stephen Hawking still had that bet ongoing, to say whether or not they exist at all. But yeah, I'll go with black holes. Black holes. Black hole suns. Soundgarden, speaking of the mid-90s. Let's go to sleep here on the second night of this episode and continue in the morning. And black hole sunsness. Oh, man. Here we go. Some questions about video games from Top Gun. Have you had any experience with the Burnout games? Burnout 3 on the PlayStation 2 was an all-time classic, and I've had a blast with the open-world Burnout Paradise on the PC. I do have Burnout 3. I think that's the one I have. It was a pretty popular one on the PlayStation 2. I probably got it simply based on the rave reviews, and it was probably one of those $20 deal, classic top seller deal games for PlayStation 2. I liked it, but again, it was too much arcadey for me. I'm not a fan of the games where, you have to get to the checkpoint in the next 25 seconds, and then when you get there, you got to get to the next checkpoint in 15 seconds. I just don't like those type of racing games. It was interesting, it was fun, it was very exciting, but I think I played for a while, but I never, and then you got to unlock the cars and blah, 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 blah. It was just too grindy for me, I think, as an arcade racer. I can't remember where or how I happened upon a copy of Burnout Paradise, but I did have it on the PC. I was planning on playing it, but I think it just looks like pants. It doesn't look very good, and the handling is terrible. Like, there's a press B to do a 180 turn, and like it does the 180 turn for you. There's no like, as opposed to in like even the Forza games, you have to like kind of finesse the handbrake and turn it yourself, but this was like press B and your car will automatically do a pre-scripted 180 turn. I'm like, this stinks. So I played a little bit of that on my own just to see if it worked, but then I was unimpressed. I was wholly unimpressed. Is that the one I'm thinking about? I think that's the one I'm thinking about, Burnout Paradise. Yeah, it was like an open world-y game. So I know it also was kind of well reviewed, but not just too far onto the arcade spectrum of things, I'm afraid. I'm quite the snob. I'm just picky when it comes to my racing games. I like simulation, but probably not too much simulation, to the point where you have to worry about, like, setting how tight your lug nuts are and, like, the settings and stuff like that. So, yeah, like, iRacing and stuff might be a little bit too far onto the sim stuff. I still might have to try that eventually, but Whereas the F1 games are a nice blend. The Codemasters grid games have swayed a bit too much to the arcade side. I'd like them to come back to... There was a really nice sweet spot when it was Toka Race Driver 3 was the last game. That was the series that ended up turning into Grid. That was a nice sweet spot for the simulation style. I'm still surprised at how much I liked Forza Horizon. And also Forza Motorsport was a pretty good balance. That is still very arcadey, despite what people argue otherwise. Just because you can fiddle with a bunch of settings doesn't mean the actual game is a simulation game. So that definitely Assetto Corsa is a little bit too much on the side of sim, but it's still fun. I want to get back to playing that game, but I need a better computer. They have definitely added a bunch of effects and stuff that make it, if I were to play it on this computer, I don't think I would be doing it justice. Both frame weight, and quality-wise. Wescoey Wabbit. Woof. So, yeah, Assetto Corsa. You know, there's all this nice spectrum, but those are within the habitable zone that I can say that is my spectrum of racing games. Not too sim, but not too arcadey. Also, speaking of Vigi games, Joshua from Kentucky asks, have you ever played the game Roller Coaster Tycoon? I did indeed, on the old Windows 98 machine that the family had. Let's make a boat here, why don't we? Or a couple even. Oh, that's an X. Or how about 3? 3 is a good number. 3. So I did. Whoa! Oh, I got it. Did I pick it up? I think I got the workbench as I went by. I did. Snagged it right out of the air. Oh, there was a nice diving board right there as well that I missed. So yeah, I did play Roller Coaster Tycoon quite a bit actually. Back on the old Windows 98 machine. It was a cool game. I did make some pretty cool roller coasters in my day. I'm not sure. I'm very much on the fence about the tycoon budgeting style games. The Sims doesn't interest me. A lot of people are asking, oh, well, you should try Cities Skylines. That seems like a really good game that is growing popularity because it is what SimCity should have been, the last iteration of SimCity. I've never played any of the SimCity games, excuse me. What was another game I played that was kind of like that? It's not really a sim game, but kind of the RTS. I played the original StarCraft a little bit. That kind of interested me. I played through the campaign of that. And the whole kind of, there's a little bit of planning and budgeting and building and a little bit of that, but not so much. But yeah, I did like that a lot. Did that boat just disappear? Okay, so it into the black hole. No, it broke apart. So yeah, I don't know. I did, and I think aren't they making a new one? They released a trailer and it seemed kind of dopey, so people were like, seems kind of dopey. So now they're kind of backpedaling and saying, no, we're still working on it. Yeah, I did play Roller Coaster Tycoon a few times. Like, I didn't get too far into it. I think I maybe played or made or created 2 or 3 different amusement parks, and then just kind of like, oh, once you get so much budget, then you're like, okay, tear everything down and just make one crazy awesome roller coaster that murders people at the end. It's kind of how that ended up going. But yeah, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. Another question here from Bergasms. This one he's asking for himself and not other people. Didn't we have one in the last episode too? Dang guy. Generous with the donations and then the questions. Bergasms asks, in Minecraft Bingo, of which Bergasms is always repeatedly at like the top of the players on the Reddit there. In Minecraft Bingo, what items always cause you the most trouble to obtain? I'll usually try to avoid them, but in the past, it has been the complicated items that I don't use in vanilla Minecraft anyway. So like when I came across a hopper that I needed for the first time, I'm like, how do you build this? Do you need redstone? Do you need a bow and arrow? What do you need? So stuff like that. Certainly the food items Like, I don't know how to make cookies, or cakes, or pies. I don't know the ingredients, the recipes for that, so I usually avoid those. It seems like a lot of the items that require you to find a specific mob, whenever I decide, oh, I'm going to need this, which needs leather, I will never find a cow for as long as I shall live. Or you need a spider eye, you need to find a spider. Nope, never finding a spider. Sorry. That is the last item you'll never find. So yeah, it tends to be those things. It tends to be the item that you're looking for. You know, you could be going around and be like, oh, an emerald. I don't need an emerald, but yoink. So yeah, Minecraft bingo is very interesting in that way. Burgasms also asks, can you recite any poetry? You don't have to, just answer yes or no. Not off the top of my head. No, sorry. Nope. Yeah, no, I don't have any poetry off the top of my head. Which British World War II plane is your favorite? I'm British. I'll probably have to go with the Spitfire. Not an unusual answer, but I don't really know that many other British planes. But yeah, I always like the Spitfire. I think I did have, speaking of, a while ago I spoke of having model airplanes. I think I did have a Spitfire, as well as a Mustang. So yeah, let's go with the Spitfire. When you come to Australia, I'm going to Australia, will you try Vegemite? How about fairy bread? I don't know what fairy bread is. It sounds like it has gluten in it. What with it being bread. Vegemite? That might have gluten in it too, who knows? But I wouldn't seek it out. See, I don't try the local cuisines. I'm not, when I do travel, I'm not all about like, oh, I gotta, whether it be in America or you know, out of the country or whatever, I don't travel for food. I'm not Anthony Bourdain or anything like that. So, yeah, I probably won't, like, seek it out. I'm sure people would want me to, but, no thanks. Like, if I ever do go to Canada, I'm not gonna be like, gotta get some poutine, or whatever they eat up there. Sorry, but, yeah, let's go with those. Thank you very much, Burgasms. I'm trying to see if there's a... Nah, the sun is setting. I was going to try to see if there's a really quick question I could answer. But I cannot find such a thing. But we're bringing down the list. We've only got about 3 pages now, as opposed to the 4 or 5 that we had earlier. Let's build our elevated hidey... Or, I'm sorry, our final hidey hole in this little mound here. Mound Island is land. Is there anywhere facing west that works? Yes, there is. All right, this'll do. This'll do indeed. Wolfie, yeah, just have a seat right there. Good job. So yes, getting through these questions, getting towards the far lands. I also did mention March 28th. As the anniversary of episode 11, when we first actually started walking to the far lands. Still planning on doing a live stream that day. That is this Saturday, if you can believe it or not. This Saturday, doing a little, not a flobathon, maybe a little bit of a not a marathon either, but you know, a couple hours or something, where we will play Far Lands or Bust for a little bit, maybe record an episode. A special live recorded episode of Far Lands or Bust. Do a little bit of a kind of a test. Preparations for the eventual flobathon that will happen when we raise $50,000. We'll not be pressing F3. I'm not going to be pressing F3 this Saturday. Unless you want to raise up, you know, the total $50,000 before then by all means. But we'll not be pressing F3. But just kind of a little bit of a, hey, 4 years of continually walking to the far lands for the most part. That'll be pretty crazy. So I'll have further details about that in the next few episodes, Wednesday, Friday. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching this episode and following along on this journey. Please subscribe if you're not already. Click that like button. That always helps spread the word. And go to farlandsorbust.com to donate to Child's Play charity, helping get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. gluten tube of grossness and delicious amazingness. Let's go for a Twinkie there.